ladies and gentlemen, somebody's gadget is on. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of OnPoint. If it's 4 o'clock on Sunday, you are on point with me. Are some of the most brilliant people in Liberia. We are here to discuss topics that are concerning the Liberian people. Obviously, the political season has kicked off officially, and it is on. We say here in the basketball parlance, it is on. With me to discuss these issues, I'm going to start from left to right. Let me go with my co-host, Michael Padmore. Mr. Padmore is a supporter of the ANC and a very good friend of Alexander Cummings. How you doing there, Mr. Padmore, from the state of what, 10,000 lakes? You are muted.
Yes, I do speak from the state of over 10,000 lakes. I am a proud supporter of the CPP and the ANC, and we are ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And on my right, in the blue corner, is the man from the Unity Party. His name is Aliu Kamara. Aliu Kamara, talk to me. You see, he's a travelist from the Mandingo people. Someday he's from Grand Bassa County. The next day
he's Mende. That was Mende I just spoke.
Okay, there you go. Someday he's from Bassa, he speaks Bassa. Someday he's from Lofa, he speaks Mandi. Today he's speaking Mende. Now I know where he's from. On the upper right-hand corner is our young intellectual, Mr. Elvis Morris. He's also from the state of 10,000 Lakes. Mr. Morris, how you doing there?
I'm doing so good, Mr. Gayman. I'm so excited. Like, what a time to be alive and to be participating, or at least have a voice in Liberian politics. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. And our special guest today is also from around the nation's capital, Baltimore, Maryland area, is our astute brother and friend, Mr. Joe Williamson. First time on the show. Kudos. Welcome, my brother. How are you and how is the area out there?
Thanks for inviting me, and it's fine. I'm pleased to be here. So to be part of this topic, we are doing well in Maryland.
A disclaimer here, Mr. Joe Williamson is an ardent supporter of the president. Is that so?
Very much so, and have been a member of the CDC spending 14 years.
Excellent. So he's a one of the founding members, we consider them founding member pioneers of the CDC, and he understands the party. So we have one independent person here who is Mr. Morris here. In the meantime, another CPPN just came through. They're always late. He came in all right.
No, always a little bit. Always on town.
Well, but today he's now in town. Today, with me is Mr. Anthony Gay. I think he's on special assignment either in Colorado somewhere. Mr. Gay, introduce yourself and where you calling from.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm on special assignment here in the West Coast, Montana time, not California time. So yes, in the Colorado area, you're correct. I want to say thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure. It's an opportunity. It's a privilege, not a right. And I'm going to be here to have the discussion void of personal feelings. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please share this show. It's going to be very vibrant. It's going to be informative. It's going to be warm. I'm not saying hot. It's not going to be hot. It's going to be warm. Please share this show in your personal communications, in your network. If you have not gotten the link already, let me know. We'll send it to you, but you should have it by now. So we can begin to kick this off. This is going to be very, very hot. Ladies and gentlemen, the topics are very, very hot. We are going to delve in. Number one, we say the day one of the Liberian campaign begins with the ruling coalition of Democratic Change, our CDC, Congress for Democratic Coalition for Democratic Change, is introduce today's campaign with a massive rally with a young folks carrying casket on their head, emblazoned with the photos of the former Vice President Joseph Boakai, and they say it was a mock funeral for the Vice President, the former Vice President. Some people said it is wrong for them to do so. Other folks are saying it is protected under our Constitution of free speech. Some folks are saying It is free speech, but it's distasteful. So here we are discussing these issues that are very important to us. Ladies and gentlemen, please share this. We are going to take some comments. We are going to occasionally take some calls so we can actually get to the bottom of this. Mr. Padmore, let's start with you. You are in the middle here. We saw the opening of the campaign yesterday, and it was vibrant all over the country in all forms and manner. And yesterday, the ruling coalition had this huge casket with Joseph Boycott photo all over it. And they had a mock funeral for Joseph Boycott and the Unity Party. Mr. Padmore, what's your take?
I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. What else did we expect from the CDC? Did we expect intellectualism? Did we expect them to provide a platform? Did we expect them to stand on their record? No. This is CDC. This is what CDC does. CDC was a very, very effective opposition party. CDC has never stopped being an opposition party. That's what they know. Even when they were a ruling party, they operated as an opposition party. That way, when you hear names, or did they sing Amanda? I'm like, okay, so you are already in control. Who are you pleading control from? Who are you crying for freedom from? You have been handed the realms to power, and you still singing Amanda away too. It just tells you that they don't even recognize. They have never recognized the opportunity that was given to them to change the course of Liberia. So you know, when you, no matter how you dress up a pig, you put lipstick on a pig, it's a pig. You know, a snake is a snake. You know, you can train it, you can pet it, you can do everything. In the end, it will do what its true nature is, and that is what CDC did yesterday. You know, they dress up like rebels, and they put all kinds. And that was when I saw them, and the first thing that came to mind, it took me all the way back to 1990, with all the regalia, the hair tie, and everything, chanting. You know, and then I saw them with the casket. I was like, yeah. They did it with Telia Ure, you know, several years back. They did it with Ellen Johnson years before that. This is CDC. You know, it's distasteful. You know, it is sad that this is where we are. It is sad that George Weah, who is known as a man of peace and who inspired thousands of young people many years ago, you know, this is where he is. And, you know, this is where his party is. And it just culminates why they should be elected out of office. That was the end right there. You know, almost like they were carrying their own casket. That's how it felt. It felt like they were mourning themselves. It's like a woman who, you know, it's like you are a lover, you have been rejected, and you don't even recognize that you have been rejected. You stay in a relationship. George Weah, CDC's relationship with the Liberian people is over. It's done. Finished. Gone. And they don't even recognize it yet. You know, and that's where we are.
Thank you. Mr. Gay, from another 7% to another 7%. Mr. Gay, here we are. The ruling party is parading in the streets with a casket of the opposition. But this time, I think they have all the opposition in there, but they have one picture on the top. That's Omen Boycott, who is leading that parade to the grave. Your take on that?
Do you believe that politics is dynamic or static? I'm asking you before I proceed.
Is that rhetorical?
I'm asking him a question because, I mean, he keeps saying 7%. 7% that was then, not now. But let me proceed. And no wonder why, you know, Mr. Palmer and I wore a black shirt today, because just exactly what we expected of CDC, that's what you guys did. You are very predictable. You are a predictable party. We know every move of you, every action of you. It is clear. That's why you appointed people who are not qualified, the likes of Josephine David, the likes of Abby Weezer, because their outcome will not be productive. So Abby Weezer, he will never speak on policy issues. Every time he come up with Amanda Awetu, he's one of the best battle criers within the CDC. That is the Assistant Minister of Agriculture. Agriculture is supposed to be the bedrock of the economy of Liberia, according to the PAPD. Even if you read the executive summary of the PAPD, agriculture formed in a part of that. You have 4 pillars in that PAPD. That same PAPD was to create 1 million jobs, or quote unquote, that's why we change it later to say that would take 1 million people out of poverty. Now, having a job does not necessarily put a person out of poverty. So it is even harder to take a person out of poverty than to create a job. So you didn't do none of those things. And you understand, you telling the Liberian people, oh, you're going to run on your record. You know you are not capable of running on your record when you could not even qualify for the MCC. The Millennium Challenge Corporation, where they help undeveloped countries to lay their foundation economically so they can help them with resources. Over $200 million plus a pop, right? Sierra Leone got that money 5 consecutive years, while the CDC-led government failed 5 consecutive years. That is a known fact. I'm not making this up, right? But you have, quote unquote, one of the best finance ministers in the country, right? So what are you running on? You brag about paying wise fee. The children go to college, they graduate from college and have no jobs. You are creating a hopeless generation that's supposed to be beggars in the country. So when you come with a casket and you will have a president, a man of peace, I'm a man of peace, I'm a man of peace.
Mr. Gay, real quick, let me push back here. What nation on earth that hires all its college graduates? Name me one.
That's not what we're talking about.
No, but you accuse the government of graduating folks, and they are not getting jobs.
I never said every nation hire all the college graduates, but
okay,
at least
great.
hire 10%.
Okay,
if you hire 10% at least.
Thank you.
That is 0.
Thank you.
You didn't even hire 10% for all of them.
Thank you very much. Let me go to.
I didn't finish my statement. You interrupted me, so what?
No, Anthony, you had enough time, man. Let's not do that today.
I had lost track of the question. I think we lost track of the question.
Yeah, listen. Let's go to Mr. Aliu Kamara. You don't look happy over there. When you were not coming on the show, when I look at it, they say somebody were arrested for the Joseph Burger camp. I was praying that it wasn't you. Talk to me about casket in the street yesterday.
That in there, my brother, that's easy. But let me just tell you, and Carrasco used to be one of the people who did Joseph Burger with that. Joseph Burger with that. What happened? And not take too long, a part die. Shut up. You can never hear Carrasco talking about Joseph Burger dying now. A part die first. The CDC people that go with the casket, Joseph Burger on the Joseph Burger. How many CDC now died since the last 5 years? Joseph Burger says 10. Or the auditor than that. So that thing that I had in my head, but let's CDC. That's CDC. Everybody knows CDC.
Okay, great. Mr. Elvis, you are a fairly independent guy. You always caught it in the middle.
God forbid.
Look, Mr. Gayman, I like to give examples and draw. My man, please. I like to give examples and draw parallels. I will take you to Nigeria. I've said this yesterday and I'll say it again. After Olusegun Obasanjo, they had a president called Musa Umaru Yar'Adua. His vice president was Goodluck Jonathan. In the PDP, the people knew this man had psoriasis of the liver and had some other rare, skin disease that was killing him. They knew this. And what happened? Musa Yar'Adua died. And when he took office, he was doing so well. He was, he was a gentle guy, soft-spoken, but a great president for Nigeria. And he couldn't, in his second year, he couldn't even do any of his work. He spent most of his time in the hospital. And he died in office. And what happened in Nigeria, they had a constitutional crisis because the people from the north, the Muslims from the north, felt like they were cheated out of the presidency. when Musa Yaradua died. They
But
refused
I
to
thought
make.
about Cascade
No,
again.
no, I'm giving you parallels. Please wait, Mr. Kamara. They refused to make Johnson president. So I'm saying this because we don't want the Liberian people to be bamboozled. We don't want the people to think they're voting for Joseph Boyka only for Prince Johnson and folks to come through the back door. So CDC is putting it in our face and telling us this man is not well. It's a possibility he could die in office. Nobody is praying for him to die. If my father died tomorrow, I would cry. My family would cry. We would mourn my father. But my father is not running for president. If my father has a health issue and he's running for a public, something like being president of a nation that's going to depend on him, people who are putting their votes, the next 6 years of their life in his hands, when we know behind the scenes that he's not well, and even people in the public knows that he's not well, and we try to
So
hold
the
it to our chest.
Cascade is that Joseph Boyka will die, right?
It's symbolic.
But let me
It's
say easy
symbolic,
about. Give me what's our time here talking
No,
to you like that.
It's symbolic, Mr. Kamara.
Whatever
Everybody can
it's like
interpret
hold it for
symbolism
somebody
in
to
their own way.
prophesy, another person deaf.
I'm not
Can I
prophesying.
wait for other people to talk?
Yes, I'm not prophesying. I'm saying things that we've all been saying for the last 2 or 3 years. Nobody said Joseph Boyka is going to die, but he's in poor health. He's in advanced age. So the possibility of him, finishing his first term, it's not as high as somebody like a Cummings or even a Weir. We know that. This is nature. So CDC carrying the casket, it can be interpreted different ways. This is how I'm interpreting it, meaning that you have people like Prince Johnson who are supporting Boyka, who are openly said that his way to the presidency is through Joseph Yuma Boyka. How you interpret that? That Joseph by Jeremiah Kun being vice president for 6 years, that's the path to the presidency? No. It means that this man will not finish his term, and thereby we will get the presidency after he's gone. That's how we interpret it. We know this, and we have to speak truth, not to sugarcoat it, not to try to intellectualize it. And the CDC is putting it right in our face so we can see it. And then the Liberian people will make that decision if they want to vote for a president who may not finish his first term and hand over power to a notorious warlord in his ilk, or if they're going to find somebody who's more young and vibrant and have a suitable vice president. God forbid any one of them were to die, they have a suitable vice president with clean hands who can take over the country. That's the message that I got from it. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Gay.
you very much. Mr. Williamson, you are very new. Welcome to the platform here. We are looking at, I know you are a supporter and a member of the CDC. So you got to have inside information, maybe give us some thinking on what went into the decision for the young folks to do what they did. And is it illegal?
Thank you. The question, this is politics. And one of the things we have to put in mind, the party has already spoken. It said was distasteful. That's what the official statement of the party. But the freedom of speech, and we have to look at the constitutional right of those people who carry the casket. That's a form of the freedom of speech. We live in America, we see effigies. We'll put noose on Obama's neck. They will do anything they do. It's part of the democratic process. It may be distasteful, but it's not illegal. Okay? One of the things here, I don't think it had anything to do with Boyka's health. Boyka's health is not the problem Boyka has. It's Boyka's incompetence. That is Boyka's problem. That is Boyka's incompetence. It's not the fact that he's old or what have you. I will not.
That's a discussion we can have. I'm ready for you for that kind of discussion.
Okay, so you had your chance to talk. Give me a minute. Yeah. So the point here I'm trying to make, carrying the casket, it's just another form of the freedom of speech, I think, which is protected by the Liberian Constitution. I don't see anything personally, but the party thought it was distasteful. I would not have done it that way, but we're talking about young people. We're talking about young people. This is not, if you're talking about saying, oh, this is a CDC, then you're not being genuine. You're being disingenuous because the party has spoken and they took a different position. So in this, when we're talking about politics, let us be genuine enough to be able to say, okay, the party spoke against it, and don't take it and make it the character of the party, because we've spoken and said this is not what we're about. But we also understand that those young people have the right to do what they did, and they did not do anything illegal. That's my position here.
Thank you very much. Mr. Eastman, you are saying a steward of the CDC someone with Inside Network, well brilliantly said that, listen, what you saw yesterday may be distasteful, as we saw as a Republican myself, as an elephant. I saw the Democrats, the laborers, they had Trump in effigy in the street in Times Square, and they have people coming and kicking him in the behind. That's why they were doing. They have people with baseball bat beating him. Hey, that is part of the freedom of speech. That's part of the campaign. There was nothing wrong with that. And Mr. Eastman, talk to me. What was your take on the opening of the campaign overall in this casket that CDC has stolen? They basically have stolen the news from everyone, because ANC had a launching, UP had a launching, Gonglo had a launching. Nobody is talking about those launching. We are talking about CDC in the casket. Have they done something very true politically that sucked the oxygen out of everybody, Mr. Eastman?
Well, looking at the campaign, anyway, let me just greet all of you, gentlemen of the panel, all of you distinguished people. I'm sorry for being late. But to the issue, it's still notable that CDC still has the capability of mobilizing. They're a grassroots party, and they still can get people going in Monrovia. Of all the parties that opened yesterday, you saw more movement from the CDC camp, more mobilization from their camp, more excitement, more noise, more activity. But they are the incumbent. And you did see some from the UP. You did see some early movement. You saw the champion, the Monrovia, Montserrat County chairman, Darius Dillon. He was out there with the people, mobilizing, getting the people aware of their choice of candidate. The other two, ANC or CPP, was more sedate, but there was a message, and that's what I noticed. He had a message of what his plans to do were. It wasn't just a lot of brouhaha ambience. My concern is, one thing, getting the people to vote for you, you mobilize them, but as we know, we fell backwards for years and years and years. So now we have to bring the people up, build up their understanding of where the future is and where they want to do, upgrade their standard of living and their ways of thinking. We have to take them now to the future, and that's supposed to be our question. Who is the candidate ready and prepared to build the people and take them back to at least the level, pre-war level, while we try to achieve other things? So that I didn't see anybody telling me that yesterday. Except I saw some mention in the ANC, but other than that, it was just a lot of people moving, and then. So I wasn't quite impressed, because I always know CDC has the ability to mobilize. They have always been the strong point. So that's my take on it.
Great. Mr. Padmore, here we are in American politics where we say any news is good news. If the media is not focusing on you, in either way, you are losing. Number two is, if you are explaining, you are losing. And what I'm seeing that you guys are doing in the CPP is you are trying to capture the limelight, but for some reason, it is just difficult for you to capture the limelight. And in America, we say the evidence of winning is voter enthusiasm. And Mr. Eastman just spoke to it. The enthusiasm, who can get their people moving. Mr. Eastman, what's going on with the CPP yesterday? We didn't see much from your end. What's happening? Why is it so difficult for companies to grasp the headline?
When you call me, are you speaking to me?
No, he thinking, and that Mr. Padmore over
he
there.
confused.
I
It's
know
okay.
Because he doesn't know what
I
I'm saying.
said Mr. Padmore.
Okay.
Mr. Eastman talk about the movement of
All
the
right, let me
crowd
see
and the
now.
movement of the populace.
You know they say when you're
What-
explaining, you're losing. Start
Yes,
explaining.
yes, and you guys are explaining. I'm gonna lay in the premise for you.
you.
Why is it that you are catching a hard time getting the limelight?
So here's the thing, right? What is the limelight? What would you define as the limelight? To be put all over social media, carrying casket around. That's the limelight. Your campaign leaders, instead of focusing on strategies to win the campaign, they are out there issuing explanations and issuing apologies. That is the limelight. No, come on, look. No, yeah, the thing is very simple. Yesterday there was a heavy downpour of rain in Monrovia. Okay, in this environment. Our parents all there to get sick. They play orange gas hospital. No hospital, no clinic. They motel and put in the street. Then they get sick, they can't go vote. Then you say, oh yeah, you smart. No, we're not going to do that. Look, August 5th for CPP, for the ANC, really meant nothing. We have been campaigning since 2018. That's what most people don't understand. We never stopped campaigning. We have been talking to the people, interacting with the people since 2018. When CDC stopped, when UP stopped, when all the other P's stopped, ANC have been engaging the people. August 5th was just for you. Say you're just coming back. We've already been there. So for us, it didn't mean anything. Now, okay, we just see you now. So that way you all want to play carrying casket and doing all these things. For us, it was just another day to engage the people. And we did it in the way we wanted to do it, which was safe for our people. And we're going to continue to do it up until October 9th, 2023. We'll continue to engage our people. And that's what we've been doing. Okay?
Thank you. Mr. Kamara.
Yes, sir.
I know over the past few years, you deliberately refuse to acknowledge that ANC exists. You think there are some fathom the civilized people in the West will say they are a social media party, but you refuse to even acknowledge that they exist in Liberia. What is happening with the CPP, and how does the Unity Party deal with these people? Because they think that they are better than you, and they think that actually you are not.
Wait. I understand your question. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying
What am I trying to do? I'm telling you.
No. Listen.
Go ahead.
First of all, you're putting words in my mouth. And you're trying to stir up something. You're trying to redirect this thing from CDC to bring. No. You might be older than me, but you're not smarter than me. You're trying to make this show. Wait, hold on. I know you're not giving me a chance to touch because I'm calling you saying. You know, we used to have quite time over there, grandpas. So listen, let me call you saying. All right? What are you trying to do? You're trying to make this a confusion between the CPP and United Party so we can forget about CDC, but it's not going to happen. Now, here's the thing. This brother here started a very good conversation that I would like to go into. He said Joseph Parker is not competent.
That's correct.
Amen. A man supporting Joe Weir is talking about Joseph Parker is not competent. But I really want us to go into that. You understand me? CPP is an established entity by law. They have agreements signed and notarized. The ANC has existed since 2016. So don't come tell me here that I don't acknowledge them. I beg you. Go ahead.
Okay. Listen, this is getting very interesting. I mean, the guy saw, like you said, the rain was pouring in Monrovia yesterday. And the CDC and their folks were in the middle.
Not bad that one.
Mr. Gayman, let me go next because I put that thing to say to that statement with the
Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, we are talking about
the other guy cheated video.
Why is Cummings having such a tough time getting the limelight? And why Joseph Walker is being beaten so bad everywhere? When you talk to them, their only defense is the silent voters going to vote for. The silent majority going to. They're not working. They're not doing anything. Nobody moving. They're saying. So who are these silent majority? Silent people. And I don't want to say only silent people are in the graveyard.
Mr. Gayman,
Let's
let me
see.
borrow. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Let me borrow a saying from Mr. Kamara. The ANC people are resolved not to get sick from the rain. Look, are you telling me that political, you know, that there's some people who look at the weather side and say, I'm supposed to go somewhere, but it's looking cloudy. I'll go tomorrow when the sun's shining, when the weather is perfect. This is politics. You're saying that the reason your folks didn't go out to welcome in the campaign season is because it was raining.
That's not what I said.
What about the CDC people?
That is not what I said.
Okay.
What about the CDC people? You know, there's this, you know, saying that CDC people are quote unquote stupid, but it's not stupidity. It's love. It's dedication to their president. It's dedication to their party. Rain, sun. I know we're gonna have snow in Liberia, but rain or sunshine, CDCs are out there supporting the party. You saw nothing from the CPP. You saw barely anything from the Unity Party. They're the most exuberant. They're the most, you know, I can't even find another big word to use.
Yeah, forget
But
it.
they're the most excited for the campaign season, so to speak. So for me, we see, you know, they say you'll see by the eve, you know, if the Christmas will be good. Seditions are ready. They are in full gear. That 38% or whatever percent you say, Josh, we are get all the time. They are out and ready to go get it. So for me, we're not looking at elitists, people who think they're all prim and proper and can't go out when there's even a slight inconvenience of weather, that they gotta wait until the sun is shining before they go outside. Even when it's sweating, they gotta have, you know, 39 hanger shit to be wiping their face. Look, this is like real politics. You have to be ready on any circumstances to campaign for your, you know, for your candidate. When it starts raining, when they go in the southeast and the muddy road, they'll say, we're going to Maryland. The place too bad. Let's go by. We're campaigning over the internet.
Is that why you face the road?
My man, anybody who for 12 years, she faced the road.
Stop, man.
Coming out, that multi-millionaire, he can build highway from Monrovia to Maryland. They ain't build it for us.
Mr. Williamson.
Yeah.
Here we are. Let's. I think we spent a lot of time on this. You can segue into the next one, which is Cummings says boycott of the NEC meeting, the last meeting that was held, where they wanted to go over the fine prints of the rules and regulations and ethics and all of those things about the NEC. The ANC, the CPP, they sent no representative. The Unity Party sent Jeremiah Cohn, and he spoke his mind. He laid out the platform of the Unity Party. The CPP and the ANC, Alexander Cummings and his entourage were conspicuously absent. What is going on there? What does this say? Is he throwing in the towel already?
Well, let me just say, you're listening. I don't know if he speaks officially for ANC, but
no,
what he just said.
Nobody here
okay.
does.
But what he just said, was self-destructing. When you say it because it rained, we didn't want to make our people sick, and the Liberian people going out there. So if it rains on election day, you're not going out. That's basically what you're saying. Because
vote in the rain.
Excuse me. I listen to you talk. People vote in the rain, and they will vote in this, and they do. So let me just. Secondly, he made a statement here. You know, they say excuses are the tool of the weak and incompetent. Given the rain, that's an excuse. That's bogus. You talk about you've been campaigning since 2018. But ANC has not won an election or any by-election they took part. What is the political capital you gain from campaigning? You have nothing to show for it. You know, you guys are telling people to vote against WIA and not giving something to vote for. It's not going to pass.
For the record, Simeon Taylor did win.
Excuse me, he did not run at ANC. Listen, I'm telling you, he's not in there. I'm just telling you something. He ran independent. And he won and switched over. They did not win that. So excuse me. I listen to all of you guys talk. Let's correct the record. If he went into the Senate and switched over to the CPP, similar with Borchaz, they ran independent. So you have nothing to show for it. Secondly, the ANC political leadership has also been by one person. For one person, Cummings. It's all about Cummings. So Cummings could not be the president, the standard bearer of the CPP. They broke up. Unity Party had to go. If I can't be president, nobody. Yesterday, he took the opportunity to advertise his walking rather than being at an all-important meeting for the stakeholders. All other parties were there. The Liberian people are not crazy. They're going to look into those things. That was a political faux pas. I thought if he didn't want to go, he should have sent someone. Not being there to discuss the details of the election, how we're going to handle it. I thought it was a political faux pas on his part.
Thank you. Mr. Eastman,
I speak on the EGL.
We're coming.
Who coming?
But Mr. Eastman spoke before
listen, Mr. Eastman, you heard Mr. Williamson saying, as a political strategy, basically, it is self-inflicting wounds where when the people upon whom you are dependent, the UN, the ECOWAS, the EU, the US, they all came to enforce, to remind, to go over the fine print. And then one guy says he does not trust the NEC and he thinks this thing going to end up in cheating and he will lose, so no need to come. So why is he in this race?
You ask him about the CPP?
Yes.
Well, why is he there? I think you would have asked a CPP enthusiast, but I don't know if these appearances make all that difference. I think it is good to show. I know that people want a winner. People want to be part of a winning campaign. People want to be part of a winning team. That's very natural. So it is good to show that you have numbers that people are, because when I was on the ground in Monrovia just a couple of months ago, that was one of the things they mentioned. Oh, but he will not win. It was he and Gongo. The idea Gongo didn't have money to win. CPP did not have the grassroots support. All kinds of, these were the stories I was hearing. So I think it is strategic and tactful to show that people are behind you. Yet and still, there were, even though we saw a lot of people in the streets, that's also a potential for violent clashes. So sometimes it might have been to keep his followers safe, and maybe at another day show yourself. So sometimes, just like you pointed out, you want that publicity. And right, everybody in the streets yesterday. Or if you choose a day that nobody in the streets, then you alone will get the limelight. You alone will be having the focus. So I'm not sure if it's part of the strategy, but I do believe you have to show a force. You have to show people that their votes are going to be significant, so that you can win the election.
So Mr. Eastman, we're not talking about the street. We're talking about the NEC meeting where all the stakeholders were, and he didn't show up. Nobody from the CPP, nobody from the ANC show up. Where you had the U.S. Embassy, you had ECOWAS, you had UN, you had everybody, all the political parties show up, and they are absconded.
That I'm a little bit surprised, because that meeting should have been informative, if nothing else, and from them not to have a representative at the meeting is surprising. But let somebody from CPP try to give you that answer. To me, in all my understanding, at least a representative should have been present.
Let Jerome be dancing around.
Thank
When
you.
Jerome dancing around, you come to the
Mr.
board and
Gay,
get an answer.
Mr. Gay.
Yes.
I know, according to Mr. Padmo here, and I will paraphrase, Cummings and the ANC don't go out when it's raining. I know it's been raining.
I see that.
I know it's been raining all month. So you got me now have gone to that very important meeting because I get coming with melt. Talk to me why you guys didn't go, because it's a very tough, serious issue. It's on all the front pages of the newspaper. Daily Observer, they just sent it to me here. It says right on it, NEC. The Cummings has problem with NEC. You see? So what's going on here?
So, in as much as you found this very important, just as the Liberian people also found it very important that the president need to speak to the nation, that the president have to show up to debates, that the president have to speak on national issue when people's lives are taken, that the president have to speak the entire nation. You don't sit there or go in the church and stand behind a pulpit and throw giants and say, oh, they said our boyfriend and girlfriend thing happened. They were doing that thing in that car. Who knows it? You don't throw those kind of job. You don't dismiss people, not because they are not your family member, right? You are the president of the Republic of Liberia. So it is a choice that the party made, right? It can bite, hurt, do whatever thing to the party, that's fine. But you want to make it out of issue, you want to make it out of our headline, that's fine. But if the Nigerian people are denied what this president is going to do, what he's staying for, at the national debate that he did in 2017, he's planning to do that again because 2 debates have already been scheduled. CDC has not consented to those, right? But he's been going to all the different meetings. He has very smart people, lawyers on his team. Even his vice presidential running mate is a lawyer. So they made that decision not to partake. There's something that they look into very well. There are smart people around Mr. Cummings. He's not the only person. He has a very great team. So for you to run with it, Cummings will never boycott any debate because you know the Liberian people has to hear from him, and he will do so well on the debate. He has been going to all the different meetings. They have made a conscious decision not to go there for whatever sort of reason that benefit the party.
But did they issue a statement, Mr. Gay? Did they issue a statement for explaining to the public why they didn't attend?
They will give that explanation. I am not close with that information at this particular moment, so I don't want to make a statement that will contradict their statement. But I can tell you for a fact, there are very smart people within the orbit of Mr. Cummings, and for them to not go there, they have a good, solid reason for not going there. However, that doesn't mean that they don't care about the Liberian people. He been on almost all the major platforms. Even this very focus on Liberia has been here. When the last time we heard President Weah on national radio, taking questions from reporters, unscripted? When? For the past 5 years, he has ran away from that responsibility.
Thank you.
Completely ran away from
experienced player don't suffer for Jesse, man.
Listen, guys, listen, one at a time. Mr. Kamara, you as a student of this game, before the game starts, I'm giving you the World Cup analogy. They have the referee, they have all the team lined up, they got the captains, they got everything, and they go over the rules. These are the rules. We flip the coin and all that, so we do that. You cannot say, you flip the coin, I won't be there. I'm not coming to listen to the rules. I'm not going to do this. The whole world gathered for the final briefing with the NEC. And one party that considered itself one of the major parties did not even have the courtesy to send a representative at that meeting. His concern is that he doesn't think that the NEC is credible. He thinks he will be cheated. The game have not even begun.
Where you got that information from?
Mr. Ali Kamara. Oh, Kamara, I think you are.
Hey, post. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I said, unfortunately, the question is coming from you. So somehow it has some kind of dent in it, even if it's unintended. But like I was saying before, this guy who you just brought, I need this guy on debate night, Friday debate night, and I need this guy on point. I think this guy can better represent the CDC, and we can actually have a conversation, you know. But no, I think Mr. Cummings kind of he dropped the ball on that one. I don't know who his political advisors were. The grievances he expressed in his absence of that meeting would have been more prompt if he had expressed those grievances within the meeting, face to face, with the international partners being present and with other political leaders. That was the place that he should have made there. He would have made a headway. People would have seen him as a strong guy in the opposition, as somebody who was bold and direct. He would have got some kind of relevance for that. However, either way it turns out, the voting population that Mr. Cummings has now will be the people that will vote for him on October 10th, regardless of whether he goes to a debate or whether he does not go to a debate. Mr. Cummings has a
let me push my record. You said the people in Harlem, because most of them are on the internet. You think they will vote on the internet?
But no. Now let me be a little bit serious. Okay, there's no such thing as voting on the internet. But Cummings has a voting population in Liberia. Now the size can be something that we can discuss, but people are going to vote for Cummings. Don't forget, Cummings is in the top 3 or top 4. So it is obvious that people are going to vote for him. Now, what we want to look at is whether that voting population that he currently has, whether he can make an inroad, whether he can increase that population. That's the difficulty he's facing right now. But whether or not he appears anywhere, it wouldn't make any difference. Great.
Mr. Morris, you've been following. I think you can say all you want to say about the old man, even while he was sleeping in the United States in the church here. His VP went to that meeting, and he spoke energetically, passionately about his feelings about what's going on, and that the incumbent has all the resources, and that the NDC need to look at issues and arrest them before they get out of hand, because the ruling party has the bullet pulpit. So he made a point that makes sense, that listen, you the NDC, you have the power to arrest some of these things before they get out of hand. While they are not out of hand, you have the power to keep them in line, keep them in check. He made some salient point, but he was all by himself. If Cummings was there, or Cummings auxiliary was there, it could have buttressed and say, well, this is coming from basically the united opposition, or it's coming from several sources. But instead, Mr. Jeremiah Kuhn was the lone wolf out there. I don't know if anybody listened to him. What's your take on his absence?
Thank you, Mr. Gayman. Look, Cummings has a very litigious vice president, very well read, very adept within the law. They can take this issue to court. You know, this is not something that you should cry wolf over. Take it to court. If your complaint has merit, the judge will find in your favor. And then the second thing with Jeremiah Cohen and the United Party people, who are already crying foul before the match even begins, for me, I would say this. We know African elections, they're never 100% fair. We know that. We'll have international community monitoring our elections. We will have civil service, organization monitoring the elections. You have a team of lawyers, especially for Mr. Cummings and Mr. Boycott, who can afford some of the best lawyers in the country. Use the legal system and the international community to make your plea to them if you feel like something is unfair. One of the things that Cummings was saying about, the National Election Commission is that why isn't President Weah following the footsteps of the former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf by incorporating opposition parties because it's good practice within the sub-region? Look, that was a goodwill gesture to Liberia after we just came from war, to appease some of the opposition political parties. But we know what happened in those elections. We knew there was massive fraud, even though they had people on the National Election Commission from the opposition. We know that Jerome Kokoya was a stooge for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We know that. So it's not going to change anything if the president, quote unquote, wants to steal the election. Once the chairman or the important people in the commissions are in the president's pocket, if he wants to do it, he's going to do it. So Cummings is just talking semantics. It doesn't matter if you have them there or not. If this ruling party wants to cheat, they're going to cheat. But you have to make your case evidence-based. If you have the evidence, take it to court. So that complaining, it doesn't fly by me. He is a man who's been in a corporate setting. You know, you follow POS, SOP. You follow procedures on how to operate. So if he's not following the steps on how to get redress, then he's just being a crybaby. To put it simply, he's being a crybaby. I'll leave it there.
Mr. Eastman, before I go to Mr. Gay, we are talking about a major issue here. Well, in fact,
You mean me or Padmo?
No, Mr. Padmo, I meant to say. Mr. Padmo, and ladies and gentlemen, we got to make it clear here. Mr. Padmo, myself, Mr. Williamson, anybody here we speak. We do not speak for the political party. We do not speak for the organization. What we say here is our own opinion, expert opinions, because we know what we are talking about. Believe it or not, like it or not, it is our opinion, and we are expert at it. Mr. Padmo, talk to me why you were not in Monrovia yesterday attending that important meeting, and as a very strong supporter and a very good friend and a strategist for the ANC. Tell me, what were you thinking?
No, there are certain things were identified after the 2017 elections that needed to be done, right? There were certain things that were admitted to that went wrong. According to the courts, they decided those things were not strong enough to overturn the elections. But from that, they came up with certain things that needed to get done within 6 years before the next elections. Those things have not been done. We have written, we have complained, we have addressed, we have done everything that needs to be done civilly, even going to court. This election commission has just refused to do it. The people that went there, Jeremiah Kuhn went there, he complained. What happened? You saw anything change? They just listened and went through one ear, clean out the other one, and the business as usual. We tired, man. So you know what we chose to do that day? We chose to go and interact with the people. That's what we chose to do. Because obviously, the NEC, they're not serious. They're not serious about making changes. They're not serious about doing what is right. So we said, okay, fine. It's not our time to go and say and go and complain again, knowing very well you will not listen to us. We'll go and we'll interact with the people. And so the community decided to put his short transit on to get out there and interact with the people. And that's what he decided to do. Look, Elvis can come here and talk about, what Ellen Johnson decided to do elections commission and was a goodwill gesture. How do you think Deviator Brown got on that particular commission? How do you think she got on the NEC? It was because Ellen Johnson opened it up and President we had nominated her. That's how she chairman today. That's how she got on. And then now that they are in power, they are saying it was a goodwill gesture. Come on, man. When are we going? When would they want party to be responsible? Y'all be responsible. Now you're taking words from my mouth. I say when it rain, then nobody can go outside. When I told you, August 5th didn't mean nothing to us. We were not going to put our people in the ring to make them sick on that one day to prove anything to anybody. It's like on election day, y'all will know. Y'all be waiting for the ring. Y'all will know who will count us and who will not count us. Man.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the next topic here, and I will start with our newest panelists here, Mr. Williamson. Mr. Williamson, I know they're afraid of me on here because they think that I support the president, and they know I don't. I don't support the president. I am not a seditious. Never met the president. Don't believe in any. I'm not a politician actually. So here I am. I came from the back of Matthew Wings, so I'm a populist, so we have a connection there. Now this is what's going on. The president went to the mosque on Friday. And the whole place, for the first time in my life, have I seen the mosque. People are, for me to see our Islamic sisters expressing themselves and chanting the slogans and praising the president, and in fact, put up the banner of the president on the mosque. In the mosque. The president got into the mosque. He took the opportunity. He greeted the people. He could say prayer from the Quran. He can recite and all of that. And he was well received.
He was once a Muslim, though. If you don't know that.
Excuse me. And then Sunday, gentleman went to church. He fits right in, and he's at home. He reminds me of the great Bill Clinton or Barack Obama. He's just a human magnet everywhere he goes. Tells me why the mosque on Friday and Sunday, the church on Sunday, Mr. Williamson. We have never seen anything of this magnitude in the politics of Liberia. Mr. Williamson, you are muted.
No. Let him just finish talking.
The story, the lad from Claratown became one of his country's best citizens, and its eventual president still resonate with the Liberian people, irrespective of religion background. And we are going to election, and I think meeting the interfaith group where they worship and going there as their leader. He's president for whether you're Muslim, you're Buddhist, you what, he is your president. Going to the mosque was one of the things you do when you're trying to appeal to the public generally. And I think his going there was very well received. It was the right thing to do. Ask them to pray for peace, which was what he did. Ask them to pray for peace of the election. I don't think it's a bad thing. And going to the church on Sunday to do the same thing. I think those who are complaining understand what it meant. It's something that caught them in the path. They don't know how to deal with it. But what would a president do? Talk to your people. This is George Weah we're talking about. This is Opong we're talking about. This is somebody who, when people were lying in the mansion, and some of us were in the luxuries here in America, and he was visiting Liberia in the throes of the war. The people know him. So when we come to these things and say, I hear people talking about debate, in America, we say Hillary Clinton will beat Donald Trump in debate. Did she win? Did she win? Debates are overrated. So that's not what we're going. We're talking about President Weah. We have our record and we'll run on our record. I'm not going to say that. We're not going to sit here for you guys to define what our record is. More roads built in 6 years than anyone. More housing units built in rural Liberia than any in 6 years. More hospitals built. Free education to all of Liberian children within 6 years. These are verifiable facts. The Liberian people know it. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, the facts are there. And we will run on our record. When it comes, I heard somebody talk about the 2017 election. It was Unity Party that was controlling that. So if there was something wrong that y'all went to court in 2018, CDC had nothing to do with that. It was Unity Party. So if you want to blame Unity Party for what they did over there, blame them. Another thing where we have shown the international community that we were going to support the democratic tenets. We had 2 elections in Liberia, several elections where CDC, the ruling party, lost. We didn't cheat then. We didn't do anything. We have a record of fairness. So you guys can consider and try to create a dystopic view of Liberia, you guys should be ashamed of yourself. You know there are facts and the record there to show that this government has been championing democracy, even if it meant that we'll lose the election. We have several that we've lost. And so let's be real about that. You know, we can disagree, but we must agree that this government has done well to strengthen our democracy. And that's why the international community are fully supporting the government in that regard. When you look at the rule of law and you look at democracy, those things have edged up to a higher point. So that dog won't hunt. That somehow we're cheating. If you guys know all of that, why enter a race that you think you will lose? I mean, it doesn't even make sense that you call all the complaint and all the things. You know the election will be rigged. Why enter this? Why? Why you waste your resources? I think you spend more time telling the Liberian people the contrast, telling them, oh, the NEC will cheat. It's not an alternative. It's not a platform. Try to tell the Liberian people what to vote for, not just what to vote against. Thank you.
Thank you,
Well said, Mr. Williamson. Well said.
Perfectly explain why committee didn't go to the meeting. Thank you so much.
Mr. Eastman, you just heard a brilliant citation of what the CDC. You know, I'm not a sedition. You know, I don't support.
Everybody run the party.
Look.
You are always introduced at the
Listen, I am a host. I'm a host. I'm a moderator and a fair one. Mr. Eastman, you just heard. Listen, you just heard what the young man said. He said this election, they are not, CDC is not going to allow you to run and throw in the towel and run away. They're going to hold you to the tangibles. He named hospitals, he named roads, and not only that, but on the eve of the campaign, the world got together and said we endorse President. We have effort to build a hydro, 300 megawatts of hydro that will actually not only let up the whole Republic of Liberia, but Liberia will be able to export. Nobody does that when they see a loser coming. Mr. Eastman, your take.
You know, let's, for the sake of argument, let's agree that the CDC has been making some infrastructure development, okay? That they have been building hospitals. They have been extending roads. What's going to matter to the Liberian people when they get in that ballot box is what's their future? If they are hungry and they don't see no future, those roads, those hospitals will not mean as much. So, in as much that these are accomplishments, but at the end of the day, have you convinced the Liberian people that another 6 years of this administration would be beneficial to them? And I can tell you, from my experiences, people are starting to think. But CDC used to be way more popular after in 2017 when I went there. CDC, I mean, everybody, all of them came around me and told me that that's the place to be, and they were not joking. But because people are still feeling the pinch. You see, development is good, but you got to have the greatest impact of the people on the people. You want them to change their status. They want to lifting them from poverty. I think that was the best strategy CDC came up with. But what are the metrics? What are they using to measure how much? I would tote that. I wouldn't tote industries. I wouldn't tote hospitals. I would tote how many people I have brought out of poverty. How many people have changed their lives? How many people now have futures? How many businesses now and jobs have been created? I think those are very significant things to the people when they get ready to go vote. But you know, those other things. we have a way of letting infrastructure decay. Look at Hotel Africa. Look at the other buildings and that we just allow. Look at Ducor. All those government structures. We allow these things. So infrastructure is good, but it's not perpetual. What is going to be perpetual if we lift people out of the poverty, if we give them an education that they can earn their own, those things are perpetual. They will last. So I think that's where the true measure will come from on the day of the election.
Mr. Host, please, 1 minute, Mr. Host.
Yes, go ahead.
I would just listen. We just had in about 4 weeks ago, 2 monumental agreement that has the propensity to
another future turn.
Have the propensity to create widespread economic growth. The Coastal Highway, when the African Development Bank, you know, taking people out of poverty, it's a gradual process. So when we got that money from the agreement with the African Development Bank to help build the Coastal Highway, some $400 million that they're pledging to work with, and the first one, the first 8 million is already put forward. To create the kind of relief from poverty that you're talking about, it takes time. It's not a quick fix. After 176 years of our day, you don't expect in 5 years we could have done that. But we're setting in motion the trajectory to take us to unprecedented level and widespread economic success. Imagine tourism. If that road is built, then the World Bank offered 300 million to increase the 150 to 228. That's where you begin to find economic growth, when the man can take his product to the market. These are things that people will see and say we can vote for. The highway, the highway. You don't control the show, sir. The highway.
This is not fair to us.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Listen, you will have your time. You see that I-95 corridor we have here? I understand. I'm hitting you where it hurts. I understand. I'm hitting you where it hurts. I'm giving you facts.
Mr. Gayman, be more equitable over the time, please.
Listen. Mr. Padmore, let the man land.
Jimmy Eastman made a great point. Jimmy Eastman made a great point. Let us be. You will have your time to rebut.
You have your time.
Listen, you don't control the show.
Mr. Padmore,
you don't control the show.
Go ahead.
Listen.
No, he's a co-host on the show, so give him some respect, please.
Yes, but if you do that,
Mr. Williams, go ahead and land.
So I'm landing here. You see the I-95 corridor, when it started, called the Big New Deal, it didn't start overnight. But when that was done, it unleashed great economic and expanded the middle class. The We Are government and the Popo agenda is doing just that.
Thank you. Mr. Kamara, you've been quiet for a while here. Let's talk about...
Because you won't call it, man.
Listen, United Party will not support you guys. Forget it. It's not going to happen. So don't try to quote him here. Mr. Kamara. Mr. Kamara, go to church on Friday, go to the mosque on Fridays, go to church on Sunday. Some people, especially the ANC people, they're having a fit that this man is parading, going from church to church. In fact, a few weeks ago, he was in Israel going to the Great Wall. Some of this, the object is the CPP. What is happening? Is there anything wrong with going to the mosque and then going to the church?
When time, the Muslims took a back at that. They felt insulted because Israel has been bumping the Palestinian and killing them without any reason whatsoever. And Muslims were like, well, Joshua goes over there, he putting it in our faces, all over Facebook, the man over there boughting the war and stuff like that, So the Muslims, and Joshua, take it, believe it or not, whether he's eloquent or not, he is politically savvy. So what Joshua do? It goes to the Muslims. And look, let's admit the truth here. Joshua is a celebrity. In 1983, I was a child. When George Weah, people used to spread.
You were a child in 1983?
Yes. I was born in 1974, so I'll be a child in 1983. But let's get to the issue.
You know when you were born? Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Wait, I was born in hospital, man. I was born in
My 150th birthday.
But yeah, but let me tell you that before you maybe lost. I see your strategy, Mr. Gayman. You're not gonna succeed because I was still on point. You know, George Weah is a celebrity. In 1983, as a child, we used to see George Weah walking on wrappers, or you could call it lapa. People spread lapa for George Weah to walk. This is how long the name George Weah is embedded in the soul and minds of the people. Even the generation being born today who never saw George Weah in his prime and in his element, they embrace George Weah as if they knew him back then, because the story of George Weah is repeatedly being told. So every generation that comes, they get the freshness of George Weah. So George Weah will always get crowd. That is not an issue. Now, whether that crowd will translate into vote, we will discuss that after October 10th. But my brother here, he's a very good propagandist, but he is misleading the facts. He's not telling the truth. When you sit on a platform and say George Weah has built more roads than any government, then give us the stats. What are the roads? Where are they? I was just in Liberia in April. The road I drove on to go to Beginner was built by the Unity Party.
Yes.
In fact, George Weah has destroyed nearly half of that. From EAWA Junction to Rawa Fee. He flipped the road upside down. Okay? The road from Monrovia to Ganta was built by Ellen Jones. These are the major corridors. The road that Ellen didn't build, didn't read was the road from Monrovia to the border with Cape Town. In fact, that road now is worse. Because when I went to Liberia in 2016 and 2017, I drove from Monrovia straight to Sierra Leone. I cannot use my car on that road anymore under George Weah. All of the roads that you're talking about that have not been completed, those roads, the negotiation of those roads were done through the Unity Party-led administration, and the funding and everything was secure. None of the roads have been completed. Now let's discuss what George Weah have done in terms of road. Let's just discuss it. How many roads have George Weah built using the government money? How many? None. The road George Weah started, which funding was also secure for, from EAWA to Pakopin, the road was already arranged up to now for 6 years. From EAWA Junction to Pakopin, George Weah have not been able to do that road. We go to Monrovia every year, man, my brother. Where is the road? I want you to show me where the road. I know you were talking about Nimba County, and I was there too. So show me the roads that George Weah has built. Because before George Weah came to power, there was a road going to Ganta, there was a road going to. In fact, before George Weah came into power, nobody went through Ivory Coast to go to Maryland. People drove from Monrovia to Maryland. Even if the road was bad, they went to Maryland. When George Weah ran campaign in the southeast, he drove to the southeast. He didn't have to fly to the southeast under Ellen government. So you got to show us some of these roads. When you say George Weah has built more hospitals than whatsoever, okay, let's name the hospitals that George Weah has built compared to the ones he met. And then let's also discuss how was the medical system service before George Weah came, and how is it now? Infant mortality rate. Let's compare that. Then you discuss, you say you run it on your record. What was the poverty rate before George Weah came to power, and what is the poverty rate now? The most essential food for Liberian rice, how much did it cost then, and how much does it cost under George Weah now? What was the U.S. rate then? What is the U.S. rate now? So to just be talking these things, I know for some people, you're winning souls. But for those who know better, they're asking you too many questions. So please give us the facts and not just brush over it.
I wish
Mr.
I had a
Gayman, please
chance
let me
to
go
do
next.
it.
No,
It's my
you can't
turn.
go next.
I will do it next
What do you
time.
think I can go next, Anthony?
We got a real CDC
Listen,
today.
ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Morris, your turn. Then we'll go.
Yes, thank you. Look, I want us to give ourselves a big hand clap. And what is that hand clap for? In the sub-region, Liberia is the most religiously tolerant nation. We're
Let me know.
predominantly Christian. Yes, we're predominantly Christian, but we've never had any religious violence between the Muslim and the Christians in Liberia. So our president, being a man of peace, who embraces the Islamic people, the Islamic faith of Liberia, and is also a Christian, would like to see that. Fundamentally Christian would say, oh, you're not supposed to associate with, go to the mosque and this and that. But that's why it takes a special person to become president, because you can't allow your religious belief to discriminate from a segment of the population. So President Weah has been tolerant, and I think us as a country, as Liberians, we have been tolerant of diverse religious beliefs. So kudos to us on that front. Mr. Kamara is talking about roles and all of these things that happen on the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Look, for those of us who follow Mr. Kamara during Ellen Johnson time, we know he was staunchly opposed to her. He was a CDC supporter. And we understood that during Ellen Johnson Sirleaf time, the kind of support that she got from the international community is the support that President is dwarfed by the support that President Weah is getting right now. So it's not the same. It's not the same as the support that she got then and the support that President Weah is getting now. So definitely they had a lot more resource, a lot more goodwill to do some of the things that they did in terms of roles. So let's not try to make it seem as if Ellen Johnson raised that money on her own and built those roles on her own without the help, external help. It's not true. We know that. You may laugh all you want, but you know that. Sweden, one of the places they solicited money from was from the government of Sweden to build most of those roads. That's a fact. No. The point I'm making is don't make it as a point of pride for the United Party government, as if to say that through the ingenuity, the financial ingenuity, they built those roads. It was us begging, please, I beg you. And the people felt sorry for us because we just came from war. And they felt sorry for us then. They have more sympathy for us at that time. But look at our country 12 years later. They say, well, the people are not serious. All the money we give them, billions and billions of dollars, look how the country is still looking. So President Weah had an uphill battle to climb. It took him almost 5 years to secure the loan or the funding for the coastal highway. Why does it have to be a highway? We know the Southeast
the coastal highway was already secured. There is no 400 million nowhere for coastal highway. It's a lie.
Please, prove it to us. Prove it to us that it's a lie. We know that the roads, building roads in the Southeast is very difficult. The roads are muddy. It's just difficult. So instead of building the basic road from Monrovia to Gunter, where it can be paved on the road itself, we have to get a highway. That's the only way. And building a highway is a lot more expensive than building normal roads that's going to be on the ground. So getting the funding for that was difficult. And President Weah, from what we've been told, has been able to secure some funding for the coastal highway. So kudos to him. So look, when you try to compare Ellen Johnson Sirleaf with George Weah, we know it's not fair because she had a lot more money coming in from the international community. She should have done a lot more for the country compared to what President Weah has done. So it's not even a comparison. I'll leave it there.
Thank you.
3 minutes.
Mr. Evans,
3 minutes.
when that coastal highway, even though it was talked about, the African Development Bank is supporting it, we still have to meet some criteria. Our credit worthiness will determine how much we get. We still have to meet some criteria to get those loans. And that is why you see it's not on such a fast pace. Some of the existing highway be used as part of it, but there's some debt to credit, debt to income ratio and all of that has to be in place to continue getting those loans.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you for that clarification.
So in short,
Mr. Eastman, a quick clarity, Mr. Padmore, you didn't do your honeydew, they call you, or you better go.
People in Mexico are like,
you just say your bastard people, go cook that food for the woman, man. You bastard people.
You know, Pastor make it cold already. They can't tell
Mr. Gay.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Yeah, we're talking about infrastructure development. I think Mr. Wilson talked about hospitals, roads, and what we are saying here, we don't want anybody to believe that these things are done in isolation, that one person is so powerful they can do this. That's not what we're saying. And one of the things that everybody credit President Weah for, including myself, first time in the history of Liberia that our sitting president have actually agreed to complete whatever was started by the previous government. It has never happened.
What?
Yes, it has never happened. We have no history of a sitting president completing. I mean, you saw Ellen Johnson Sirleaf when she came, the police academy that was built, I think police academy that was built by
the Defense Ministry in Congo Town.
Defense Ministry. They came in as pretty as that building was constructed by the Israelis. She came in, she said the building was rotten. She was going to tear it down because it was not worth it. Then she turned around and put $3.5 million in the budget to destroy it because she said the building was solid and it needed to be dynamited to just bring it down. So you see the dichotomy when President Weah came in, he said we'll complete the airport. We'll complete this. In fact, we will name the complex after you. Everything that Ellen started, because it was not Ellen's project.
It was Liberia's project.
It was Liberia's project.
Mr. Gayman, 10 seconds. I want to point this out for us on the show. That former Defense Ministry that was never finished, it was a personal vendetta for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She broke it down, built a ministerial complex, and put her name on it, the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex. Because of what happened to her, she saw that as a personal triumph. And she built it and put a structure on it and put her name on it. So I just want us to point that out.
So, Mr. Gay,
let me comment, but I want to disagree with Mr. Gayman, you the host. Though completed some October project, the SKD Sport Complex was a blueprint that Doe completed. So when you said no president had carried on the legacy of the other president, that is not true.
Okay,
right?
That's one. That's why I give it to you.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I give it to you. Let's keep moving. Which one? Give me another one. Give me another one.
The host, let him mentor now.
Again, give me another one. I give you
one. I gave you one.
Aha, you see that?
I'll give you plenty, but
I don't know one. Get there or nothing else. I want to give you one.
Somebody get texted to you. I saw it. Go ahead.
Look at that. First of all, from Grand that come to house, I don't know more than I did. I don't did.
Okay, all right. Go show down your pastor. You're doing very well.
So hold on. Let me say this. There's a comment. I've been following the comment very well. Somebody said, because when you mentioned, the president recited a prayer in Islam or in Arabic or whatnot, I said, the president wants a Muslim. Then they said, so ANC hate Muslim people. Well,
ANC hate Muslim.
Don't do that. The only Muslim university.
I used to say that way.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
The generator they're running today was donated by Mr. Cummings. So how can you say the only Muslim university in Liberia? You understand? So don't come here and say, when you don't know something. I used to go to the mosque. I can say the Sahada. Right? There's a prayer called a Sahada. I can say that's a
Shahada.
Well, I'm not saying that, right? But at least you understand what it means, right? So, again, that is not coming to stand against Muslim people. Look at Musa Bele, they're not Muslim, man. Come on, man.
You're against Muslim people, we know that.
Don't say that, Mr. Gayman. It's not true.
Listen, man, I know the people. Look at this, man. This man don't let Muslim people.
Just protect me, please.
Mr. Gay, go ahead.
Good.
Talmo don't let Muslim. Kamara don't let Muslim. Gay don't let. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Gay. Anthony Gay, I gave back your 2 minutes.
Okay, good. So, welcome to the show again, Mr. Williamson. I like your energy, your passion that you speak with. But in so doing, sir, do us a favor and just be honest to the Liberian people, because when you start saying things like, we have built more roads than any other president in the last. That is not true. You're making it right now. Even Arabs, if you have made it that because Ellen had more support. That is only saying if you go to Ellen had more support. Don't say this kind of thing. Look, what I found on with the CDC is that you don't have to do a paved road from Ganta to Grand Gile. There are several spots that we already know that every year those spots are always dangerous to go through. Face those spots during the dry season. Say you don't have the resources to pave all of the road that will cost you almost $100 million for that corridor.
The civil engineer, Anthony Gay.
Why are you doing this now?
Okay,
Mr. Gayman, you give a 30 seconds that he took. Right?
Yeah. This is my country second. Go ahead.
Be quiet here.
I have 30 seconds back.
Good. So those spots.
Why you didn't call me?
Doing the normal day Liberia,
Hold
we
on.
could access any part of Liberia, regardless, except for Bella Yara that didn't have road and people used to take helicopter or the air taxi to go there. But every part of Liberia, we used to access that place. Every county, you could access every county, whether rain season or dry season, you could access every county. So Liberia will never be able to pave road, but we never had this problem. Why can't you use common sense, face those spots, bring the front end loader or machine, clear all that area, bring concrete, put it there, cover it, and make sure that it's good. You don't have money for asphalt, we agree, right? We agree. But you can go 5 years without facing that one corridor, and the people in the southeastern region are completely cut off. A bag of cement in Monrovia in the community is about $8, $8.50, $8.25. Some places $7.50, $7.75. Depends. In Grand Gillette County, it's $15 US. That is not fair to the people. How can you treat the people that they act like you kind to them?
Thank you.
It's economics 101, my man. It costs more money to get it, so they charge more money for it.
Mr. Gay, your
I
time
can answer that question with my
Oh
time.
man, that's not fair to me.
Okay, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Let me learn because he didn't even let me learn.
Okay, learn.
Let me learn with my 30 seconds.
The man can learn over Grand G. Just wait over.
Yeah, great. Not like bro, my man.
My man.
Then it's
I
ready.
said
Go ahead.
Southeast. I said the Southeast. There are 5 counties back there. Don't say Grand Gillette, not Liberia.
Look,
Right?
go
So
ahead.
let me say this to you. You brag about George Weah have done good. George Weah is the poverty creator-in-chief of Liberia. Today, purchasing power in Liberia has declined significantly than when George Weah took up in 2018. So don't come here and come pimp us people. Don't come here and come play with people's intelligence. If we are doing this great, why are the people struggling in the way? The country is even harder. My mother would never mention about politics. She said, so this year, I will vote. I will be in that land. Even when it rains or sunshine, I will vote.
That's a lie because
Who should vote for?
You got
You know what you will vote for? You will vote
Mr.
for.
Gay.
Okay. The one for Grand Gillette, you vote for boy.
Mr. Morris, this man is lying because they made it clear that when it rained, they're not voting. So your mind going to vote in the rain.
Yeah, right. Vote for nobody else but Joe.
And your mom come out in the rain, she voted for CDC. You know that.
Can't leave it.
If it ANC, she will stay home. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing very well with time here. We got 20 more minutes to go, so we got enough time. You guys are doing very well with it.
Mr. Gayman, please let the people call in today. A lot of people watching. Let's hear from the audience if it's possible.
You want to hear from the audience? Okay. Mr. Jad is in. I think he's backstage. So, Mr. Jad, will you please put up the numbers, please, before we go to comments? Mr. Dennis Jar, will you please put up the numbers? But listen.
I'm back.
Okay, we're going to do it like everybody else have done. If you have a call and you are a friend of Mr. Padmore, call Mr. Padmore directly and he will put you on through his phone. If you are a friend of Mr. Joel Williamson, you want to call Williamson and he will put you on the phone and we will answer your question. If you have a question for Mr. Aliu Kamara, call Mr. Aliu. Okay, hold on. Aliu is having problem with his mic.
Are you using his phone? That way
he's using his phone. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. If you have questions,
I wanted to make something clarity.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Because we're on social media.
Aliu, 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. If you have questions for Aliu, he uses his phone, so you can put it in the comment section, and we'll read it to him, and then he will answer the question. Go ahead, Aliu.
Look, we're on Focus on Liberia. If we were on SKTV, I would let a lot of things pass because that's what they do there. This is Focus on Liberia. Okay, let us check stuff. To say Liberia is the most religious, tolerant country in the whole region, let's not make this kind of statement. Okay? In Sierra Leone, you have both Muslim and Christian presidents throughout their lifetime. Christian vote for Muslim, Muslim vote for Christians. In Nigeria, throughout their lifetime, both Muslim and Christian presidents were cabinet almost equal to, regardless of which religion you're from. The Gambia, and so on and so forth. Why can't you just make that kind of stupid statement? If a Madingo man was to stand up today and like brother to run to be president, you think he will win?
Yes.
Look, Mr. Kamara, you know what's going on in Nigeria based on religion? With Boko Haram killing the Christians?
Gentlemen,
Come on.
Mr. Michael Padmore, listen, guys, Mr. Padmore on the floor. Go ahead, Mike.
No, just now, as you are speaking about Muslims, I'm listening to him. They jump to Mandingo. Why do people like? Why you are people like?
Yeah, Mandingo is not. It's a tribe. It's not a religion.
I'm glad you guys are teaching me what Mandingo is, but I'm just saying the common knowledge. What people
you are interchanging, and that is not fair.
Okay, gentlemen.
Mr. Gayman.
Let's go to let's go to the last topic here. Let's spend 5 minutes on the last topic, and I'm going to start with Mr. Kamara here. There is a news snippet in the Maryland Times. It says that a member of the Joseph Walker entourage was arrested for theft at the local CVS.
What do you want to see? Painkillers?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kamara?
Let me address that quickly. But before I do, there was also one misinformation that Muslims and Christians have never fought in Liberia. That is also not true. In 2003, listen to me. No. In 2003, there was something called a rap war between Muslims and Christians. Mosques was burned, churches were burned, and people were killed in 2003. So let's not say it never happened before.
Just a minor uprising.
But again, there was a war between religion. Churches were being burned and mosques were being burned. What do you think that was?
A war between religion?
Wait a minute.
What are you trying to switch on now? We like, bro, we are proud of our religious tolerance. We are proud of that. We're not religious bigots in Liberia.
I'm a grown man. I don't talk like a child. If churches were being burned down and mosques were being burned down, how do you refer to that?
Mr. Kamara, you say you are what kind of man?
He's a grown man.
I said I talk as a grown man. I don't talk like a child.
Oh, I thought you said you were.
If churches are being burned and mosques are being burned, how do you call that?
I thought you said
a traditional riot?
I thought you said you were a gribble man.
I didn't say I was grown man.
I heard it to myself, but
let me answer your question.
I corrected in my brain.
Okay, so let's go, Mr. Kamara. Let's go.
Let me answer. So we gotta give factual information. If we don't know it, let's not just talk. But here's the.
So are you saying that Liberia is religiously intolerant, Mr. Kamara? Is that what you're saying on this platform?
I am telling you that Liberia is not as religious tolerant. If Liberia is religious tolerant, like you said, you will not be going around saying that Liberia is founded on Christian principle, which is a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Okay, we'll debate that another time. Let's
Thank
go.
you.
This is the first one I agree with you on.
Yeah, they've been it. But anyway, here is the thing here. What was the question again? Evans is so interrupted that he can confuse people. So now, what was the question?
I'll mute.
Mr. Honorable Whitehouse entourage, one of his members.
I don't know if entourage is the word to use. Again, what is an entourage, Mr. Gayman? Please tell the audience.
Listen, one of his delegation members was arrested for stealing. I can't speak Mandingo, but I'll put that one there.
You know, delegation member. Yeah, there was someone in the congregation who was alleged that it does something. You can't say Joseph Walker interact. I know what you're trying to do. On a delegation member, that's not true. That's not true. If yesterday when you had those people taking that casket, if one person from among them would have done something, you would have said that was George. We are interact.
Listen,
You say CDC.
Listen, man.
You say listen. Now you got nothing to say. But go to the next person. It wasn't Joseph Walker interact. I just wanted to let
what if Steve on the show? We go get CBS Red. We're going to buy lotion and things like that.
I'm quoting the paper, the Baltimore Times.
Yeah.
Baltimore. Read the Baltimore Times.
Okay.
It's a
Listen,
rush.
this is what it says.
Me too.
Listen, Maryland time, August 5th,
Mm-hmm.
2023. Member of the Liberian delegation arrested.
I think it's a rush again.
Listen.
Let me read the thing.
A Liberian believed to be part of the high-level delegation led by the former vice president of Liberia, Joseph.
High level? You sure you reading nothing correctly?
Oh,
So let's go to the next one.
Mr. Kamara and read it, Mr. Gilbert.
Mr. Padmore.
Read it, come here. We gotta take calls. We're not taking all of that.
Mr. Padmore.
Thank you.
We got 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes on this. I'm glad that Aliu showed because I was worried about him, but it wasn't him. So he showed up. That's good. This is bad news for Mr. Boycott, man.
We got it.
Of course, it's bad news. It's horrible news. What do we remember about the UP administration? Corruption. That's what we remember about UP. Look, I saw a picture of Henry Costa posted a picture. On that picture, there was Taylor Ure, there was Mobile Yogbo. There were different people. And somebody went under that picture and they started to list them according to parties. And that took me back to 2017 when the opposition group gathered together against one party because we were so fed up with that party. That party was a United Party. That corruption. This is not surprising. It is not. When it's CT, they get to the head from.
You should come back from here. You must come back to me. Make sure you come back to me. I will get it then.
No different. Why is this only one hand on and not for you?
Watching like eagle eyes, he will see and get away with it.
Mr. Jimmy Eastman, the Joseph Boycott group, the United Party, everybody had accused them that all these people surrounding the old man, exactly what they want to do is steal while he's sleeping. This man was walking and they were stealing. Just imagine this time he was up going to how they call it, the Mampiolo, the GC United, to the event. They were going to a GC event, and the guy was stealing while he was walking. Just imagine when he's sleeping. Mr. Eastman, this is bad news.
Mr. Gayman, you know, if we don't stop being hypocritical to ourselves, we'll never go nowhere. We do know poverty is in our country. We do know that you can't even leave a phone down for 1 minute, it will be stolen. We know there is a high propensity to steal amongst our people. The UP party that's wanting to go to power now, they have admitted squandering, they have admitted to embezzlement and all of that, but still they're coming back and they want state power. This is small. That little petty theft to CVS small. I think we have to keep our eyes open. I think much worse will happen, and this is why we
don't forget the true we party want to come back to power too, and they squander everything in that country.
We're not talking
about no entertainment, man.
Don't try to distract and detract from where we see.
No, but comments is in the race, and comments are brusking in the race. They are clear representation of the
never joined Tory party. Never joined. Let's forget about all that.
The fastest growing political party in Liberia.
Okay.
Don't try it.
So let me land. Okay. So and then coming back, and this is why we need Woman Buckeye to be very, very healthy, because we know there's a high propensity to get into government comfort. We know that. And if we don't admit it, then that's why we will never go nowhere. We know that this is what people do. Embezzlement. They go to power so they can find. We know these things occur. And if you say your leader is going to change that, then he has to be vigilant. He has to be healthy. He has to be on top of his game. Because we know the level of theft, the level of corruption, the level of dishonesty. To lead the charge against corruption, not only do you have to do it by example, but you have to have a police in the beginning. You need to have a police-like state to discourage people from doing it. And if they're not prepared to do that, I mean, they're not prepared to move corruption. They should not tout it as what they want to do. It will be more of the same.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our show. We're going to give everybody 1 minute to close. We have another show coming out at 6 o'clock. We appreciate everybody coming. Mr. Middle, Mr. Williamson, you are welcome anytime. We like your interaction. Mr. Padmore, as usual, you have always been as prophetic as you can. Mr. Kamara, you know you are very wealthy, very, very when it comes to the culture and the people. We love that. Mr. Morris, as usual, you call it as you see it. Mr. Gay, analytical, we love your input. Mr. Eastman, a diplomat, you guys are doing well for our show. Collectively, we can do it. Mr. Gay, I will start with, let's do 1 minute. We got 10 minutes here. Hopefully, everybody can chime in. So you can chime in. Take 60 seconds now, not 60 minutes, 60 seconds. You are muted.
It was thank you very much. It was a pleasure to interact with everyone again. Mr. Williamson, welcome to the platform. We like having you here. Liberia, good evening. As most of you will go to the pool in October, you understand your own struggle, your own challenges, even those of you who work as civil servants. You wake up early morning, 4 a.m., go to work, and come back late in the evening before you even find food for your children. Then the government tell you they can't pay you this month. Next month they can't pay. The following month, by the time they give you 1 month paycheck, you already broke. You have understood this struggle. You have the decision in your hand. Go to the pool and vote for a candidate who have a clear and clean record, have a plan for Liberia, and have work in the international world, and have a plan that will create job opportunity. Because let me tell you, hospital will not put food on your table. The street will not put food on your table. You know what will put food on your table? When you have a job for yourself, when you can determine. Every one of us on this platform today, if we didn't have a job, we will not be in this country. We will find somewhere else where we can find a job. That because whether or not we work for somebody or work for ourselves in the country, we can make money. That's what we're here. And that's what we can send out a little thing back there to help some of you. So understand only you can make that change. And that change will come from yourself. But only one candidate has a track record of creating jobs, has a track record of giving people opportunity, and has a plan for Liberia. Job creation, the economy, rule of law.
Why you put that comment up there?
Our country. Vote CPP on October 10th. Thank you very much.
Mr. Eastman.
Okay.
Man, Mr. Eastman, let the guests go, yeah.
No. My man, just stay right where you are.
Yeah,
Message to my Liberian folks. I was speaking English so everybody can hear. The people try to divide us. They've been dividing us all the time. You will hear it all the time. They will not. They do that to divide you, so you can't look at them to know that they are going to try to pick your pocket. So they say, "Oh, look at our other men doing this," because they're inside your pocket and they're trying to pick it. But that's how they could try to distract us. But when you go into that election, this for October 10th, just think on two things, really. Who can actually stop the corruption, the cheating that everybody doing in the whole country? Or maybe you will try to get some from that person. Because a lot of those people who vote, they think they will get something from the person. That's all they voting for that for. Nothing else. They know the person will not change the country. It will be the same old thing, but at least they will get a little something. That's half of the people. But if you want that country to change, then you got to look at who is strong enough, who is sincere, who do you think in your gut will really try to change that country so that everybody can enjoy. Not trying to divide us so that only certain people can enjoy, but the person who's looking for everybody to be fair, to get something for their family, and that's who you need to look for if you mean to change that country. I stop there.
Thank you. Maurice?
Thank you. Look, for some of us who are smart children, maybe with Steve or our mom pool, Me or our sibling food, go steal down the meal, put on our soup. But grown men who are purporting to be leaders of the future of our country are coming to this country and doing petty theft. It tells you a lot about the Unity Party people. They can preach against corruption in the country, judge we as corrupt, the people stealing all the money, but yet and still they got people who stealing things like maybe that toothpaste or body soap, or Old Spice, deodorant the person went in store from CVS. But Mr. Gayman, I would say this show, I loved it. I like the fact that you allow somebody like myself to be on the platform with you guys. But please, let's make arrangements so our people can engage us on the platform. On this platform, almost every show has audience engagement. I think this show don't have a lot of audience engagement, and we got to try to rectify that. I'm an advocate for the audience because I always call in on most of these shows. So I like when people can say their point of views and make it, known to the platform. But thank you for having me on. Good discussion. We know that at the end of the day, this is going to be a peaceful election. Liberia as a whole is a peaceful and religiously tolerant nation, and we should be proud of ourselves for that. Thank you.
Right.
Well taken. I will make sure we can get calls next time.
Mr. Kamara, you are muted.
I can speak now.
Yes, go ahead.
I told you when you mute me, you have to unmute me. You did it. So people talk about hypocrisy, right? Let's talk about hypocrisy. Let me see. There are three ANC people here. Two ANC. The third one, Mr. Ismail, is a sympathizer of the ANC. That's a clear call.
Look at
But let's say they talk about hypocrisy, right? Gateway McIntosh. Where did he come from?
No.
We're talking
I'm
about
coming. I'm coming.
No. You can't. No, I will not let you go because you had no business giving the wrong impression of me. You don't even know what I am.
The man taking some my time.
So don't know. I will take your time because you can't do that. I didn't mention you need Kamara. I didn't put you need. You specifically do this. I know you are a prejudiced person by nature. There's something might have affected you in your life, man. So, but at the same time, don't try to paint other people like how you are. Speak for yourself.
Mr. Ismail, Mr. Kamara, take your time.
Okay, like I said, there are three ANCs here. Mr. Ismail is leaning ANC, and that's my opinion. I stick to that. Okay, Mr. Gateway McIntosh.
You know, you don't even know.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion. You are attacking my opinion.
Mr. Ismail, we're running out of time. Go ahead, Kamara.
You are talking my opinion. You also have religious tolerance. You're talking about Kamara. But here's the thing.
What I got to do with you being a different religion than the man?
Come on, guys. Go ahead. You're taking the
time. My 1 minute start all over. Okay?
Yeah, we start over. You're right.
Thank you. So
this man's division. Who's talking anything about religion just about him? That's his whole strategy.
Go ahead, Kamara. Your 1 minute start
over. Okay. All right, great. Who is Gateway McIntosh? Where is he now? Where did he come from? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The mobile they're talking about, mobile Yogbo, that they're talking about somebody in picture. Who sent him to go to Europe to go to school and came back and work in the government? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The man they're depending on today, the only one that's depending on Musa Belati. Where did he come from? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We can name at least 100 of the ANC, the strongest ones in the ANC, are from the very people. They say they're not hypocritical. They're not hypocritical. But you tell me now, all the Unity Party people they got around them, can they get rid of those people? Send the entire Unity Party that criminal. People say they can't be hypocritical. Somebody, an individual grown, do something that they're not supposed to do. They say, oh, the Unity Party, they speak a lot about it. You see that kind of childish conversation that can get under my skin. If I suppose Joseph Boakai now, if I did something now in America, they say, oh, that speaks to Joseph Boakai. How do people think like that? And for somebody to say, oh, the Unity Party people are known for corruption, but they want to come back. At the same time, you have two candidates in the race that represent the true We Party. Bronskin, that Congo. Ellis Cummings, that Congo. They ran the country for 130 plus years. They stole the entire country. No ministry. All of the ministries were being rented to the government from these people. They were in government, rented to themselves. The very people want to come back in government. These are the people telling us about hypocrisy. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. And that is why no Alexander Thomas, no matter how high you try, it's not possible for you to come back. I would rather carry you. I would rather go back. I would rather go back and support George Weah. I would rather go back and support George Weah than to support Alexander Cummings, knowing the history of the past. And there has been no religious tolerance in Liberia. It's only on the book. Unless you were born yesterday and don't even know what's happening, but some of us have been victims of the fact of our religion in Liberia. It doesn't affect you, so you don't know. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Mr. Padmore, oh no, Mr. Williamson.
Thank you, and thanks to all of you, gentlemen. One thing I'll say, irrespective of our political affiliations and diverse views, we are all the harvest of one banana tree, and we must do everything to make sure that our discourse keep that at the back of our mind, that we can disagree, but don't be disagreeable. Having said that, let me say, talk about this government. Yeah, the World Bank in the last report by this government said Liberia economy expanded by 4.8% in 2022, despite global headwinds from the war. The international community have looked at Liberia, okay, and they've seen development. While everything is not perfect, a lot of good things have been happening, and we cannot make the perfect the enemy of the good. So in 6 years, when I said we build more roads, I'm not talking about that. I said in 6 year period. The facts are there, and if you want to debate me, I will give you kilometers. 6 years, more hospitals built. 6 years, the peace in the last 25 years, Liberia's peace was being outsourced to international partners, international peacekeepers. In 6 years, President Weah has kept the peace in Liberia. Those are things when he won, there were whispers. Oh, Liberia will fall in the war because UNIMIL is leaving. My people, leadership, the tangibles of this government is there, and we are proud of our record. We don't expect our detractors to define what we've done. So you guys are saying we've done nothing yet, that's fine. Our record is there, and we'll articulate that at that point in time. None of you guys on this planet, after this discussion, have lost my respect. I will respect you guys, even if we have different views. And I want us to carry that forward. And I will say one thing to my brother in Liberia. There's no conga nowadays. There's no conga. It's a way of life. We are all the harvest of one banana tree. We must bear in mind that we have our triple heritage.
You're not telling me anything. You're talking to yourself.
Listen, guys, let's close. Let's close. Okay,
so I'm going to close right now.
Yes.
And
The
we
again,
are all the harvest of one banana tree. Thank you.
You're talking to yourself.
Thank you very much. Mr. Padmore.
MCC for
Mr. Padmore, bring us home.
Y'all failed.
Mr. Padmore, bring us home.
Anthony, my man, leave it there. We gotta go.
Time to talk. You failed to bring that up, bro.
Mr.
Oh, you stop, man.
Okay, Padmore, going back on
Mr. Padmore, bring us home.
Joy, know who made that song? What banana tree?
Oh, I know. You know when I go back to
What money?
Hey.
Mr. Padmore, close us out.
Well, here's the thing here. Here's the thing here, people. Okay, when you have a history of corruption, you can't slip up like that. JMB can't slip up like that. You can't. You just can't, because it just brings us all the way back. They say when snake boy you, when you see the laser, you don't run, and that's what we're seeing right now. Unity Party was exponentially corrupt, and they're trying to tell us they have changed. But then when we see Monkey Black Hand, then we have to conclude. We have to conclude. The ball is in their court to prove us wrong, and they haven't done so. They haven't done so. I wanted to correct my brother Joel. Nice one having you here, my man. You're welcome back at any time. But you are wrong when you said that the ANC has not won anything. Jonathan Stokely ran on a CPP ticket from the ANC. Okay, yes, he did. Simeon Fremont, the same thing, ran on a CPP. Go to. If I'm talking at me, I already been on that website.
Simeon Taylor,
not Simeon Fremont. Sorry, Simeon Taylor ran on the CPP ticket from the ANC. Those are the two people that came from the ANC to run in the 2020 senatorial election.
Yep.
So the ANC has won. Okay? But you can tell me any way you want to tell me. But I just wanted to make that for my audience and thing. Concerning Aliyu, you'll be okay. Liberia is a united country. We are proud. It doesn't mean that we are perfect. We have made mistakes. We have argued. They say the tongue and the teeth can fall us sometimes. It mean that they haven't worked together for most of the time. Be quiet. I'm talking to you. But look, countries that you identify, look at the population of the Muslim in those countries. Elections are, like you said, numbers. So if Nigeria has a Muslim president, it's because of the Muslim population. It is the same thing with Sierra Leone, Guinea. You know, look, Liberia, we have had our issues. We have had wars that we fought over. But yet, we still can come together here, even on this circuit, and laugh and joke and, you know, have our political butting heads, but we respect each other, you know, and it's resonant of our country. So yes, we haven't been perfect, but we have been damn good.
You got 10 seconds.
At remaining things peaceful. So I'll see you guys next week. Y'all be safe, gentlemen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. It is Sunday, 4 o'clock. It is On Point, and I'm Jerome Gayman, your host. Like I've always said, George Weah is the truth, is the light, and the way.
No, don't say that. That's blasphemy.
18.
That's blasphemy.
Number 18.
Why you know in the Muslim?
18, George Weah is the truth. Like, as always, we end our show by saying we are all Liberians.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our